Welcome, everybody. Another episode of Get Paid for Your Pet SDR Conversations. My name is Jesper Rivers, and I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Eric Miller. And today we are talking about a workshop that we are organizing to help everybody scale their Airbnb business. So, Eric, are you excited about this
Dude,
workshop?
I'm pumped, man. I'm pumped to actually, I'm pumped to actually be physically working with the people that are attending. Like we've ran so many webinars. How many webinars do you think we put on in the 3 years that we worked together? Hundreds.
Hundreds? I'd say no, I wouldn't say hundreds, but definitely hundreds of calls. Right? If you,
Hundreds of
if you
calls.
include
Yeah.
all the coaching calls that we've done, yeah,
For
definitely
sure.
hundreds.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we've done a lot of live webinars where it's a setting where, usually myself or you are speaking at an audience and they're kind of in the background, but there's not a lot of interaction. And, those are fun and those are valuable for sure, but they also could be really boring for a lot of people. I think you and I have been trying to figure out how to shake that up for a while now. And we're like, hey, like we do workshops and we help our students so much behind the scenes. Let's just do that with the public. And that really helps us with our overall, company mission, which is pretty exciting to tap into that. So yeah, I'm excited about this, man. It's gonna be it's gonna be a couple of hours of us going deep into people's businesses and actually working with them versus talking at them. So it's gonna be awesome. It's exciting.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and this is also something that I enjoy much more doing a working session with than just sit behind your screen, especially because we're doing it on Zoom, right? So like it's one thing to sit in a room with real people and listen to a speaker, but like when you're also on Zoom, it's just much more fun to actually be working together and be implementing on the call. And this is something that we do during our coaching calls quite a bit as well. And we've noticed that too. Like it's just much more fun and people learn more. And what's most important as well is like we want people to get a tangible result. Right. We want people to walk away from a training and actually have something to show for where they're like, okay, today I got something done that's going to help my business versus like I've learned concept.
Right. Exactly. And I gotta fly in the studio here. Yeah, man, exactly. It's I think times have changed and we have to shift with the new way that people are learning. So yeah, I'm excited about actually implementing this so essentially for the listeners, what we're doing on this workshop is we're going to actually be with you for 2 hours. Instead of us just speaking and educating, we're going to obviously be speaking and educating, but working with you to implement some of these systems and processes that we do behind the scenes with Legends X students in real time in your business. Right. So there's, we're excited about doing that. I'm more excited about the outcome that we're going to get. I think the biggest thing with this is that the amount of clarity that we can help hosts all around the world achieve within their business. I don't know about you, man, but by talking to all the potential Legends X students that apply, and every day I'm speaking to people that are all around the world running these businesses. Everyone loves the business, but they get so tied up in and unclear on where they're going with their company, unclear on the end goal of the whole thing, right? And we hear all the time, like, hey, I want to scale. Like people come to us because we're the scale guys. We help you scale your short-term rental business. So they come to us, and I always ask the question: it's like, what is the end goal? Where are we going with this? What does scale look like to you? And the responses I always get are like, yeah, I want to scale to 100 units. Okay, why 100 units? I don't know. That's a good number, right? Like it's like you hear 100 units and you think it's a big company. Well, listen, just last week, there was 3 short-term rental companies in our space that had millions of dollars of funding, had thousands of units between all of them. One of them completely went out of business. The second one laid off a huge portion of their staff. And then the third one, Sonder, which we know have lost a ton of value, dropping units and letting go a lot of team members, right? So just because you have more listings doesn't mean that you're going to be more successful or more profitable, right? So I think this workshop and why it's so important to us to bring this is like that was something that we noticed down in Mexico with the legends is like we have to work directly with you to break through a lot of this stuff, give you guys some clarity so you can make some educated decisions on where to take your business. So I think it's going to be powerful.
Yeah, and one of the reasons that we decided that we wanted to do this workshop is because we've been very focused on our mission recently. That's one of the things that we learned at the Legends Mastermind is like for our company to grow, like it's really, really important that everybody on the team understand exactly like why are we doing this, right?
Mhm.
Why do we get up every day out of bed and like spend like 6, 8, 10, sometimes 12 hours working in our business, right? So our mission, and I don't know if we've ever stated our mission on the podcast, so I think it would be cool
No.
to do that.
Yeah, this is great. And yeah, I mean, I'll I'll pass it back to you so you can state it. But I think this is one of the biggest takeaways I got from Mexico from Steve Schwab. Asking him how he grew his company to the levels that he did, 6,000 units, and it's just like crazy what he's doing. And he's like, we got super clear on our mission and we got great at communicating it to everybody in our world. So every single person on our team understands our mission, our even all the way down to our cleaners are on board with
Mhm.
our mission. They know our why. And that's what's driving it. It's not just cleaning toilets and turning over units. They are part of a bigger mission, and every single team member can speak this language. So that was a resource for this too that he gave us that I've read in the past that we're going to reread is Start with Why by Simon Sinek. So if you haven't
Mhm.
listened or read that book, definitely dive into that if you want to get to this point. But yeah. Why don't you share the mission with everybody behind Overnight Success?
Yeah, yeah. So there's three parts to it, and we made it very tangible, and I think that's important to put numbers behind it because that gives you like a clear understanding of what we're trying to do. We want to be very specific, right? We don't want to say like, oh yeah, we want to educate a lot of people in our
Right.
space, right? Because what does that mean? So we came up with three very specific mission parts, right? The first one is the amount of people that we want to educate through anything that we do. So the podcast, the email list, everything that we do, we want to educate 10 million people. And that sounds like a really big number, and it is a big number, because it's an ambitious goal. So over time, these are not things that we're trying to achieve within like a couple of weeks or something, right? These are things that we're trying to achieve over the lifetime of the company. So directly or indirectly, we want to, our with our education, we want to reach 10 million people, but we also have a mission when it comes to the experiences that our students and anybody who goes through any of our programs, the Mastermind, Legends X, the experiences that their guests are having, right? Because that was a big thing for you and I. We both recognized, sharing your home with somebody is a very intimate thing, and it can really like get rid of some like preconceptions about like other types of cultures and backgrounds and countries. um I still remember one of my first podcasts that I did was with a lady from a very small town somewhere in the middle of nowhere in the US, and she just hosted a person from Russia, and she realized like, wow, we are very similar as human beings, right? So those experience, they can really erase borders and have a big impact on how we think about the world and other people in the world. So we want to, through all of our everybody who goes through our programs, we want to affect 2 million guest experiences. So help create better guest experience, 2 million. And then last but not least, we want our students to build like really awesome businesses that they're passionate about, that they love doing. And we want them to achieve financial freedom, which is possible, through these short-term rental businesses. So we want to help 1,000 people actually achieve financial freedom through their businesses. So those are the three parts of our mission.
Yeah. So, and to shine some light too on how we came up with these numbers, right? If we work backwards, this is the way that we actually measure our success, right? This is the way that we actually measure the impact of our vision and mission behind the company. I think it's a good place to start with, like, hey, these are the three measurable sides, right? We want to educate 10 million people on achieving financial freedom through building short-term rental brands. We want to impact over 2 million people, guest experiences around the world, connecting people from all around the world. And we want to help at least 1,000 people achieve financial freedom. That's how we measure it. And everything we do, including this workshop that comes up, is part of those three numbers, right? Like this workshop and people ask me that all the time. Like, Eric, why do you guys put time into doing these public free, webinars and training sessions and workshops? It's like, it's because of this mission. It's like, we have a broad mission of really impacting our industry, and of course impacting the everyday person that comes in touch with us and our trainings, right? 10 million people is a lot of people, right? On achieving educating them on what financial freedom looks like through short-term rentals. So this is how we measure it. But to kind of bring it back a bit, I want to kind of talk about the overall mission, like the mission statement behind our company. Overnight success exists. Our mission is to empower short-term rental hosts from around the world to achieve financial freedom by building the hospitality businesses of their dreams, right? That's the overall mission behind what we're doing. That's our statement. That's our why. That's why we get out of bed and what we do, why we do everything from Legends Mastermind all the way down to the workshops that we're going to be doing here shortly. So that's our mission. And then the numbers that you just broke down is how we actually measure that impact, right? So you guys coming to this webinar or the workshop is part of that 10 million educated, right, at the end of the day. So I think it's extremely important. Everything that we do in overnight success drives that mission, and then we measure it through those three KPIs. So this is why we're doing that webinar. And we're going to be touching on, or I keep calling it a webinar, that's why we're doing this workshop, and we're going to be touching on how to create this stuff in your business and the importance of this and how it actually impacts what you do. And just last week we reintroduced our core values, our mission statement, our KPIs, all of that to our team. And then we had job scorecard reviews after that, where we sit down one-on-one with our team members and get feedback from everybody and give feedback. And excuse me, every single team member that I sat down with said that they felt more energized and focused on their job because of the mission. And we were failing for a while of introducing the mission to our team and consistently talking about it and bringing it to the forefront. Now that we did, there's a whole new energy in the company, right? Which is super exciting. This stuff is freaking powerful. So we're going to be touching on that when we talk about the workshop, like how they can sign up for it, the whole thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're listening to this right now, you want to sign up, go to overnightsuccess.io/workshop. The workshop is totally free. We sent out some emails asking for some suggestions and stuff. And a lot of people came back and they were saying like, well, how much is it going to cost? And, I'm willing to invest X, but not more than that. And so just to be clear, like there's no cost involved in this. So you can sign up, you can grab your free seat at overnightsuccess.io/workshop. It will take place Thursday, July 21st. So that is a few weeks from now. And it will start at 1 p.m. and it will take right around 2 hours.
Yep. Yeah, right around 2 hours, give or take. We're going to kind of flow with it. We have a very specific structure that we're going to go through, and something that we're very familiar with, because this is part of what we do in the Legends X program and work with our students. One of the first things that we do are have these elements in it. So we're going to flow with it. We have a very specific structure, but being a workshop, the way that we're looking at this is just envision being in a room with us in front of a whiteboard. We're going to bring the concept to you, and then we're going to work with you on actually implementing it into your business. So when you leave, you're going to leave with so much clarity within 2 hours, so much clarity on your business, on what to do next, how to scale the business, where you're going with the business, and a bit of identity behind your company as well. So it's going to be powerful. Yeah. We're titling it the step-by-step plan to scaling your Airbnb business to $1 million and beyond. The idea behind this as well, and why we want to continue to support, is we recognize that we are in the business to help create short-term rental legends, right? People that are running and scaling real short-term rental businesses, acting as CEOs in their company versus the hectic host, and developing financial freedom, right? And that bare minimum of $1 million in your business, like that really starts giving you freedom to start hiring people and investing in your company, and really start making different decisions other than how do you deal with the guest problem that came up today, right? Like there needs to be a massive shift in your mindset. And this is, for if you're debating if this is something that you should go to, if you're there in that, like if you're in a spot where, in that hectic host spot where you're kind of running the day-to-day of the business, fires, cleaning, dealing with all this stuff, and you want that massive mindset shift to focus on how do you start working on the business versus in it, and how do you scale it to where you're actually making real money in your company, then this is for you. That's what we're going to be focusing on. How do you get to that $1 million and beyond? If you're already making $1 million and more in your business, you're more than welcome to continue to attend this, because what we find is, even though you're at that $1 million, what we're going to introduce you to is going to help you get to that next level. And we see that a lot. We get a lot of people coming to us for Legends X. They're at the $1 million, $2 million, $3 million mark, that have never done any of this work for their business. They got there by pure grinding, right? And now there needs to be a mindset shift on how you're actually scaling a real profitable business. So
Yeah.
I'm excited about that.
And what was really cool at our last mastermind in Mexico, we actually had somebody who went for Legends X and then became a legend, literally joined our mastermind. They literally crossed that $1 million mark. I think like 3 or 4 months after they came out of the program, and they were in Mexico with us, which was really cool.
Dude, and they brought the most value, or the most excitement down there, the energy and what they're doing with their business. And it's pretty exciting to see what they're up to. So they're going through a transition period. So maybe one day we'll get them on this podcast and they can share that story. But yeah, that's what we're going to be diving into. So I think it's going to be powerful for everybody. So yeah, we invite everybody to join us, overnightsuccess.io/workshop, July 21st at 1 p.m. PST.
Yeah, let's explain a little bit more as well, like what we're gonna do and like why we chose those things. So, for the listeners, like you're probably familiar with the VOS system, right? That's a system that we designed. That's the backbone of the Legends X program. And so, what Eric and I did was we sat down and we see all the time in our Legends X program, we see people doing these exercises and getting so many results. The impact that we're seeing our students have is so big that we thought, okay, what can we pick out of the VOS system? Like what are the things that we can pick that's going to have a big impact that we can do in a few hours? Because obviously the Legends X program is a 90-day program, and we can only cover a small part. Right. But we chose a few elements out of the VOS system that we want to go into in those 2 hours, where we know that in that time frame you can actually walk away with something tangible that you can influence in your business and that can help you grow and scale beyond that $1 million.
Right. Yeah. So this stuff is again, it takes 90 days to go through the VOS system, full accountability, the pod system, the whole thing. Plus, the Rising Star Mastermind on the back end is to like really solidify and implement at a high level the VOS. So it takes time to go through that. What we're doing here is like the most important factors that I believe, or we believe, I should say, that will impact short-term rental hosts from all around the world, especially going into the economy that we're going into right now. Right. I posted this up in our Slack channel. We'll save the details for this maybe on a different podcast. But, last week I watched the video. The title was "We're officially in the next recession." Right. And I don't know if you know this. Do you know the definition of a recession?
Yeah, it's 2 quarters of negative GDP growth.
Right. So July 1st was, the second quarter in a row of a negative GDP, right? So that means by definition that we're in a recession, right? We can debate all that. Do you have something to say on that?
Well, I know the first quarter saw like a negative GDP growth. I don't know if they've released the numbers for Q2 yet, because I think the video that you were watching, they were probably assuming that
Yeah,
Q2 has a
predicting.
negative. Yeah, they were predicting that Q2 has a negative GDP growth, which means that then July 1st is the first day of the third quarter, which means that that will be the official day. But we don't know for sure yet, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
those
Thank you
numbers
for
aren't out there.
clarifying that.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for clarifying that. Predicting that we're in that pace, right? The whole reason why I'm bringing this up is this was a big topic in Mexico with the legends. Obviously, we've been talking about it for our businesses of like, okay, how do we get ready for the economy? How do we get ready for a potential recession that is, we're in the early stages of, right? And what we have decided is like, hey, we can't approach this stuff out of scarcity and out of fear. We can't control it. We can't control what's happening in the market. What we can control is how we respond to what's happening in the market, right? So, and this is what I really took from the legends, like everyone is approaching it with an abundant mindset, but they are approaching their businesses differently. They're trimming the fat, they're focusing on the most profitable listings, they're not taking on any crazy new business lines. Nothing like that. They're only focused on positioning themselves for growth during a downtime, right?
Mm-hmm.
So going back to like what we're going to be talking about and what we're going to be working on and implementing in your business in the workshop, those elements, in my opinion, are the most important elements for going into this economy to understand how to grow our business and how to grow a profitable business in the upcoming market, right? The upcoming economy. So,
Yeah.
I think these things within 2 hours are just going to give people so much clarity on what to do and where to go. And, for the ones that are really ambitious, that have the vision of like a legacy business, really positioning themselves for ultimate growth in
Yeah.
the, coming months.
Well, I think in times of uncertainty, it's even more important to be very clear on what your goals are and what you're trying to build and what your vision is for your company, right?
Right.
Because we've seen that like in the like there's been years like I call them kind of like the golden Airbnb years, like 2016, 17, 18,
Yeah,
where
man.
like
It was
people
nuts.
yeah, exactly. Like people came into the space and whatever you were doing, like everyone's making money and no one was worried about like, hey, what's the vision for my company? Or like what do I want to build? And no one's asking these
You didn't need
questions
it.
because yeah, it was
List it
just
and
like,
forget
no,
it.
I just need I just need to find another apartment that I can rent so that I could, because everything makes money right now. Obviously the everything has changed. Right now it's a different game, it's a different environment, but especially with in certain times, and we don't know what's going to happen, right? I mean, it might be small, a small dip, it might be a bigger dip, like we just
Yep.
don't know. I mean, we're pretty cool, but we can't predict the future, unfortunately.
Yeah.
um so I think in these type of times, like it's just really important to be very clear about what you want to do, what you want to build, and what your vision is, right? So that's one reason why we chose these particular parts of the program, because we could do 100 different things from within Legends X, right? It's such a broad program, so I think it's really important. Also, talking about like the uncertainty in the economy, everything. A lot of questions that we're getting too from people is like, how do we actually prepare for that, right? And you
Yeah.
you kind of you kind of mentioned it. I think the most important thing is your mindset. Don't be caught off guard, right? We don't want to panic and suddenly like quit our business or something, but we want to be mentally prepared that there could be a slowdown, and there's different ways that could affect us. So that if that happens, like we're not completely caught off guard and we're panicking and we're making panicky decisions. We're actually prepared, and we already know there's a chance that's going to happen. So we have a plan, and we've thought about this, like, hey, if the occupancy goes down a bit, how does it affect me? How
Hmm.
does it affect my ability to, to pay the rent if you have some arbitrage, rental arbitrages, or if you have mortgages like that. Those are things that you want to think about so you don't have to panic if that actually happens.
Dude, I mean, it comes down to like what we're doing with Free Wild, right? Like we have options to put a mortgage on our property here in Idlewild and leverage the property to take cash out to reinvest back into the company. Now we're debating really hard, like, do we actually want to do that? Right. Because now what we're doing is we're moving from having a property where we're focused on profit to where now we have debt service that we have to focus on now. That's in our business model in 3 years from now. But now, like we're playing with the ideas. Do we leverage this, take cash and invest it into the company? And then we're like, okay, well, maybe not, because we don't have to worry about that service right now. How do we raise private money in a time of uncertainty? And dude, like talking to wealthy people, like a couple of our wealthy friends that just have more cash than they know what to do with, they just want to put their money in assets. They just want a basic return and they want to do stuff that's cool. They don't want to they want to be passive in it, but they just want their money to be secure during these times, right?
Yeah.
So, it's like, okay, well then how do we take that path versus putting debt service on these
Hmm.
units, right? So it's making those decisions, right? And I forget who said it, but it was like there's two types of people in today's world, in this moment right now. It's the people that are aware of what's happening in the market and in positioning themselves to either sustain or grow during downtimes, or it's the people that are completely off guard, caught off guard and slapped in the face with a recession months after the fact, that the people who are prepared, that are
Yeah.
watching now, um they learn months after the fact that, okay, now there's a recession. You lost 3 4 5 6 months of time to prepare for this stuff. So
Hmm.
that's where the scarcity and the fear comes from, is like, if you're head down and just like going through the paces, not really focused on growth, not really focused on your numbers, and like paying attention to all the wrong things, versus now saying like, okay, winter's coming, cool, what do we got to do? We got to trim the fat. We got to focus on opportunity. What's the one thing that we do better than anybody else in the marketplace? Where are the opportunities that could be coming up? Who do I need to bring into the team that can support me on this? Right? Maybe I don't, go out to dinner 3 4 times a week, and I start, cooking at home and saving a couple $100 a week, right? Or whatever it
Hmm.
is. That those are empowering decisions that a leader can do within their company to position themselves to really make recessions and downtimes really a beneficial time for
Yeah.
themselves. So yeah.
Yeah, because there's a lot of opportunities. And you always say there's more people become millionaires in recessions.
Yep.
Also, did you know that the Chinese word for crisis apparently also means opportunity? I read that somewhere.
Interesting. Is
I
that
thought it was
clickbait or
pretty.
is that true? Can we
I
verify
don't
that?
know. I don't know. We'll have to verify
Do we
that.
have anybody that speaks Mandarin?
Ni hao. I actually
Yeah.
speak a few words because I used to live in Taiwan. So
Okay. You're a pro.
but yeah, like there's opportunities in crisis, and I think there's a couple of things to keep in mind. Number one is that this short-term rental industry as a whole is going to grow no matter what, is my conviction. Right, there's going to be ups and downs, but like we're in a good industry. Right, I actually, like, somebody in the mastermind just shared some report, I think, that was talking about this exact thing, right?
Yeah,
Where they were,
Richard Furtag. Is that his last name? Furtag?
yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, what's his program called?
I'm not sure, but
Yeah, I'm not sure. He
yeah,
real estate investor, old finance guy, like finance world, all of that, educator, all of that stuff. Yeah, someone in the mastermind shared one of his statements of being at a finance event in New York City. And I don't want to quote it because I read through it real quick. I haven't talked to Richard about that, but it's essentially, it was a positive outlook on the summary was a positive outlook on the short-term rental industry.
yeah,
And the big financiers, the BlackRocks, all these bigger companies are actually they have a positive outlook on the hospitality industry, the
Yeah.
travel industry. Um, so yeah, I mean, listen, we'll see what happens. But regardless, we got to be in that mindset. And the whole reason I'm picking why we're talking about this is like just getting people in the mindset ready to scale their businesses. And what we're going to do on this workshop, uh, when is it, next week, I guess, or a couple of weeks from now, July 21st. What we're going to do on this workshop is really just go through and implement in our business that the three main things that are going to really just set us up to really scale our business and understand what type of businesses are we building, what type of money do we actually want to make, and what's the end goal, where we're going with this whole thing. So I think
Yeah.
it's going to be powerful regardless what happens, if it's a big negative
100%.
drop in the industry or we have a boom again, like we
Yeah.
saw in the early stages of COVID.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to be asking our the participants some questions that you might never have actually thought about this, because I
Yeah.
mean you talk to all the people that apply for Legends X, and this is one of the reasons. This is how we came up with
Right.
some of these parts as well, is because you ask those questions and you realize
Yeah.
like, hey, nobody's thinking about this.
Dude, I talked to I talked to so many hosts that anywhere from like 1 to 50 units. I talk to them every single day, literally every part of the world, and I always ask the same type of questions. It's like, are you profitable? What kind of money are you making right now? What is the end goal? Where are you going with this whole thing? Like, nobody understands these questions. Some might have an idea to it, but I would say one out of 20 people, 20 hosts that I speak to, really has a clear objective with their business. And it's cool. I mean, dude, like, it took us a long time to really dial that in for ourselves. And I remember when I first got into short-term rentals, like, we were scaling like crazy, and I didn't ask myself any of these questions. I didn't even know if I was profitable. I saw a ton of money coming in, but I had no idea how to manage the cash. I had no idea how to analyze what units are profitable, the whole thing. And if you would have asked me like, hey, what's the end goal of this whole thing? I'm like, I don't know, more units, right? And it's like, more units, less problems. Okay, great. That's a great business plan. Sweet.
Yeah.
Right. It's like most people don't go through this stuff. And this is why we see so many people burning out. This is why we see, people putting so much effort into their business, but not being able to actually grow it. Yeah. So it's like, I think it's going to be powerful, man. I'm excited for it. I want to try to get as many people on there as possible. So yeah, I mean, I guess as an invite to everybody that's listening to, if you know anybody that's in the industry that's hosting one or more short-term rental listings and they really want to grow, I would love for you guys to invite them to this. We'd love to have hundreds of people on this, where we can truly work through those 2 hours and get this incredible outcome. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it's open to everybody, right? We're not gonna deny anybody. It's really focused on like people that want to scale their business, but but also like the questions that we're going to be asking is going to give people some clarity on what they want to do, right? So if
Exactly.
you're listening to this and you're not sure, like, oh, I don't, maybe I want to scale, maybe you don't want to scale, like
Right.
that's actually a good reason to sign up for the workshop. Because you walk away with some more clarity on that. So yeah, just to repeat the details one more time: overnightsuccess.io, not .com, .io/workshop. That's where you get your free seat. And then first day, mark your calendar. First day, July 21st at 1 p.m. PST. We're gonna kick it off, and that's it. It's
That's
free.
right.
It's going to be fun. It's the first time that we're doing a workshop instead of a webinar. That's why you keep calling it a webinar, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, all right, Eric, any final thoughts before we wrap
No,
this up?
that's it, y'all. I'll see you guys on the 21st, and keep crushing. Stay positive,
That's
stay
right.
focused, the whole thing.
That's right. Have a great weekend, everybody. And we'll be back on Monday with another Get Paid for Your Pad episodes. See you then.
Boom.